Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of linear inequalities, specifically how we can solve them when we have to use the distributive property and when the variable is on either sides of the inequality, and we'll do it in 5 minutes or less. So we have an inequality here. It's pretty complicated. We need to keep ourselves in order, make sure we do the steps the way they're meant to be. So I'm going to write down a little acronym that helps me remember these steps. And what I say when I write it down is don't call me after midnight. This helps me remember the 5 steps for solving for a variable. In this case, we're looking for W. So the first step is we're going to distribute. And I know I need to use the don't call me after midnight acronym here because I see 2 different instances of needing to use the distributive property. So what the distributive property is when you have your variable inside parentheses and there's an expression. So I've got 2w minus 5 is one expression, and I've got another one. I've got a w minus 3 that's inside this set of parentheses here. And outside of both of those, you see something that's being multiplied, a multiplier, either a negative 3 or 2. That lets you know you're using the distributive property because you need to multiply this 2 by the 2w and by the negative 5. And I'm going to have to do the same thing with this negative 3. Multiply it by the w and multiply it by that negative 3. And that's what the distributive property does. So let's write it out one step at a time. So this negative 3, I'm going left to right, it's going to be multiplied by w. And I could just write negative 3w. I don't need to put parentheses on that one. But now I've got a negative 3 times a negative 3. I am going to put parentheses on that just to kind of show how those are separate. Then I've got my plus 9. I need to distribute the other side over here. So 2 times my 2w. And then I've got my 2 times my minus 5. It doesn't matter which order I do it, so I'll do it like that. So I can keep that minus 5 there. All right, so now I've distributed. I need to go ahead and simplify. So my minus 3w is fine. Minus 3 times minus 3. That's actually going to be 2 negatives, make a positive. That's actually going to be a plus 9. So I've got minus 3w, or negative 3w, plus 9, because I've still got a plus 9 right there. 2 times 2w. It's going to be 4w minus 5 times 2. That's going to be a negative 10. Okay, so now I'm done with the distributing and the simplifying. I can now combine. I'm looking for any like terms on either side. I don't have anything on the right side, but you see how I've got 2 constants, plus 9, plus 9. I can't do anything with a negative 3w, but I can go ahead and just combine those. Plus 9 is really just plus 18. Right, always rewrite it. Now we're going to move. We want the variable to end up on one side, and we want it to stay positive. So if I add 3w to both sides, guess what I'm going to get? I'm going to get rid of that side, and I'm going to just leave 18 is greater than 4 and 3. 7w minus 10. Now I need to isolate that w. Now that I've got them all together, all 7 w's are on one side, and I'm going to add or subtract first, because that's the weaker of the 2 pairs of operations. So I've got a minus 10 right there. I want to do the inverse. I want to add 10 to both sides, using the addition property of equality there. So there is going to give me 7w equals 28, and then you probably guessed it. My last steps are going to be either multiply or divide to isolate this variable. It is a 7 times w, so my inverse is going to be dividing by 7. Let's divide both sides by 7. This is what I get. I get 4 is greater than w. But honestly, if we're going to rewrite this, and if this were on the STAR test, it would be flipped. You'd put the w on the left, so now we're going to say w is less than 4. Which means my solution set is any number less than 4.